The Dead Pixel Society podcast is brought to you by Media Clip, Advertech Printing, and Independent Photo Imagers. Welcome to the Dead Pixel Society podcast, the photo imaging industry's leading news source. Here's your host, Gary Pageau.
Hello again and welcome to the Dead Pixel Society podcast. I'm your host, Gary Pageau, and today we're joined by Pat Hugron, who is the Vice President of Operations and R&D at Dakis. Hi, Pat. How are you today?
Hi, Gary. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on the podcast.
So we're here to talk about your new commerce platform. But before we talk about that, tell us a little bit about your journey with the company, because it's been a couple of decades. You've been in this for a while.
I say 20 years, but really it's only 19 and I'm rounding up. But yeah, so 19 years at Dakis, most of those in the photo and camera industry. It's been quite a trip, and they've been really impactful years in the industry because there's been so much change since we started.
So what got you into the industry? Were you a programmer looking for opportunities, or what was that decision process like?
So early day Dakis stood for Dakis Decision Systems. So we had made a platform. We had made actually one of the first LLMs, because that's that we hear a lot about. We had made one of the earliest LLMs out on the market, and the goal was to do product recommendations. So an example would be in our industry would be a plain language questions to help you select a camera. So it would ask you, hey, do you like to shoot sports? Do you like to take pictures of parties? Are you more of a portrait nature lover? Just all sorts of common sense questions.
So that's where the decision came in.
Correct. And then it would relate to the database, and it would spit out an actual sentence as an answer. I don't even remember the cameras that were out there. Probably a Minolta Maxim model is great for low light shooting, and it has a great telephoto lens. So this would be the match for your needs. And we did that in work boots. We did that in camera. We did that in wine and cheese pairings, obviously enough. And
all those things are related so closely, right? It's a natural progression.
It worked for all of them. And then what happened is we were a bunch of young kids, and selling that, it might have been a little precocious for the marketplace. The selling point was that it could work with personal digital assistants, PDAs.
Oh,
Palm Pilots and Newtons and all that stuff, right? So we're going back. And it was a little precocious on the marketplace. It was a hard sell, hard to monetize. So then we had to decide, what are we doing? We have all this product information. What are we doing with it? And we bolted on an e-commerce platform. We made our own e-commerce platform around it. That's before e-commerce was something accessible. And then we were in the sports industry, and we were looking at what other industry we can go into. And we tried different verticals at that time. So it took off in sports a little bit. And then we went to something you know a little bit about. We went to a PMA show.
Oh, I've heard of that.
And yeah, you've heard of that, right? In the early mid-2000s, the mid-aughts. And we were in the back room, back when there was many rooms at the PMA, before everything in the industry was made in China. So we were with the knick-knack vendors in the back. I think it was Brian Noble that found us first.
Yeah.
And Michael Saint Germain. And then they started dragging pro members around and sitting them down in front of us. And it was really revolutionary for them, because we were promising a $99 web store a month with no setup fees at the time. Some of these guys had just spent $25,000, $30,000 on failed projects. And back then, every website was a custom project almost.
Yeah.
And then they spent the next 2 days just dragging every member they crossed to our booth. And that's how we ended up in the photo industry with the camera aspect of it. And then go on a few years, right? Back then, you had LifePix, you had PhotoJize, you had desktop software as well to order pictures, and you had nothing that was seamless that was in the main website. So every retailer had their little landing page, their studio page, their printing page, and a kiosk, maybe 2 or 3 of them, because they've been through iterations, and back then there were major investments. So then somebody challenged us to integrate for basic print ordering into the e-commerce platform. That someone was actually Brian Wood, who challenged us to do it. And in our hubris at the time, we thought it'd be something simple. It was not.
That's usually the mistake people make when they get into the printing side. How hard can it be? It's a 4x6 print. It's just 4 inches by 6 inches. How hard can it be?
Correct. And then we discovered the retailer needs to harness that order. It needs to go to the lab, all the different machines. And that's the e-commerce portion brought us into the camera and photo space. And then obviously we called it the Photominator back then. That was when Arnold was governor, I think. So it was a trendy name. And yeah, that's what launched us into the
Photominator.
The Photominator, right? And our goal back then, very similar to our goal now, was to help simplify operations, make it easier on the retailer, and bring as many things together as we can. And I'm sure we'll talk about it later, but that's a goal that's even more important now because the amount of tools, the amount of software integrations has just multiplied in years.
It's about the evolution of the photo retail market because it's changed so much because you have websites, you've got mobile, you do have a lot of kiosks out there. People are still flopping their butts down in front of a kiosk, which is just a computer, and people are still using that to a big degree. And you've had to deal with the dynamic of in-store production versus outsource. How do you see that trend? Because it used to be a lot of people would want to produce everything else, but also you've got to deal with a lot of outsource partners as well.
Yeah. And obviously, when we came into the printing industry, everyone thought that they could produce everything themselves. And actually, we talked about it a little bit on the pre-show, those early book machines that everybody bought. And I think that's something most retailers have stopped trying to do, which is a healthy thing. And I think most retailers we deal with focus on their specialty. So obviously, most of them do the basic prints. They have either wet or dry labs. Most of the retailers we talk to do large format, a certain amount of framing and laminating. But then when it comes to all of the gifting, that's outsourced now.
Yard signs have become a big thing.
Correct. Yard signs are a big thing. We have I forget the name of the product, but all the realtor yard signs as well.
Yeah. Yards.
Obviously, all of the higher end photo books, the embossed leather, the lay flats. It's become a healthier ecosystem as far as outsourcing than it was before. But the most important thing, and we were talking about it just a few minutes ago, is it has to be seamless to the consumer and to the lab.
Yeah.
When we started there in the photo industry, I mentioned they had all the disparate sites, but it was a different vendor for each channel. The kiosk would have an outsourced partner in certain products. The website would have an outsourced partner in certain products. When they were taking orders over the counter, it was different vendors and different products. It was like every touch point we had with a retailer is a completely different experience in a completely different retailer.
And a different commerce platform, right? Because if they're taking it over the counter, they're putting it into QuickBooks. And if they're taking it online, it's Stripe and who knows what else.
Exactly. And for the consumer, there was consistency issues. They'd order a book, and then they'd go in store and they'd want the same one, but in store it wasn't available. And then nobody knew which platform was ordered on. Was this one of the kiosk books, or was it that old Kodak kiosk or that old HP kiosk? Which one did you order it on?
Yeah.
It was a mess. So that evolution of in-store and out lab, I think it's just about being seamless. Focus on what you're good at. If you're a big graduation market or big wedding market or cards, get that press and specialize in that, and that's fine. But if that's not for you, that can be out loud.
See, that's one of the things I think, especially when I look at your typical independent photo retailer, right? They get very excited about all the stuff they can make, right? They put in that UV printer and they can make the golf balls and the coasters and all of those things. They want to do all that stuff, but it's really not the bulk of their market, and it can be a distraction.
And I get excited about those products too.
Yeah, we all do, right?
But yeah, what we've focused on telling our customers is focus on what you're good at, focus on what the highest demand you have right now. And then that long tail, you can still offer it throughout lab partners that are high quality.
Right. Yeah, good. But then they get it, then in the back of their mind, they're going, but I got to justify that logo jet payment. So I want more.
Oh, yeah. Well, correct. If you do have the equipment, then obviously then market that. I mean,
exactly.
Do the SEO campaigns, get those products on Google Marketplace, do whatever you can to justify that machine, that mortgage on that machine.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about what you're seeing just in the marketplace in general, right? Because one of the things I think that when we talk about photo, now I'm doing air quotes for those who can't see, it's people don't print, blah, 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 blah. And we all know that's not true. right? People
Well, that's not true.
Yeah, younger people
We've
are printing, they're printing more and all this stuff. What are some of the trends you're seeing in maybe even in the film side of the business in terms of the growth there about the trend towards output?
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Photo retailers, energize your sales with ShareMe Chat, the proven texting platform. Using chat to text on your website keeps your customers connected and buying. See us at Pro and IPI to find out why dealers using ShareMe Chat close more sales without adding staff. Find out more at shareme.chat.
So I didn't come with hard numbers.
Right.
So we're going to go with just
gut feelings.
So obviously you touched on the big one, and it's been the big one for the last, say, 5 years, and that's the return of film. But the return of film, in a way, I don't think any specialty retailer is expected, just a growth there. And it's not just replacement. It's not just because labs have been taken away from the Costco or the big box stores, that there's really a resurgence in film, and this resurgence of wanting something analog, wanting something you can touch, you can feel, you can experience. And it's really positive for the whole ecosystem, because that love of the game, that love of photo, that love of the hobby, that shines through on all the film. And that's taken retailers unprepared. They were unprepared for that resurgence.
Right, exactly.
They didn't have the tools in store. They didn't have the process.
A lot of them were decommissioning their film processors, right? We're now
Correct.
seeing film processing equipment coming back into the IPI and pro shows, right?
Correct. New equipment, brand new equipment, not just recycled and rebadged and restored. And actually launched what we call the film development module, which is the workflow module, which allows you to create job tickets directly in your My Dakis from a film sale, either through the kiosk or online, and then follow that through to the POS even. And then you send out the files. A lot of labs using Dropbox, things like that. But if you keep that in your ecosystem, then you can help generate more output, because a lot of that film is just being developed and scanned, sent out in digital files.
Right.
But we need to generate output from it, and we need to generate those hard copies.
If it's going to Dropbox, it's probably more of an arduous process to print that, as opposed to having it within a gallery within your My Dakis platform.
And it's not that arduous to take the file and then go to the website and then upload it back, but you're giving your consumer, your customer, that opportunity to go elsewhere, or that opportunity to just forget and do something else.
Right. Which is the bigger, which I think is the bigger challenge, right?
In 2026, your phone goes ding and you go away, and then you don't come back to it. And that's probably what we're seeing more. So keeping that in the Dakis environment, in what we call the pro event, to send out files, we're hoping that keeps customers engaged with the retailer's brand, the retailer's name, the retailer's site, the retailer's products and services. Obviously coming back for more film, but also doing something with that film once it comes. So if you go to YouTube and you look for Dakis, we have our own channel with the playlist. There's a bunch of training stuff there, but our webinars are also there as well. And there's one about the film dev, which is very interesting. It goes through examples. It goes through how to set it up. And we'll be covering that again. Obviously, we have the boot camp at IPIC, which will be covering that as well.
So you've touched on a theme about bringing it all together, having almost a quote unified approach so that's really where we wanted to get to, is talk about your unified commerce platform. Can you kind of touch on how you got there and what it is?
So how we got to the unified commerce, the idea of the unified commerce, is just seeing our customer base, the stores that are using our platform, just struggling with all the different pieces, struggling with connecting their e-commerce inventory with their in-store inventory, seeing them reconcile the orders they're taking over the counter with the orders they're taking online, and how those are different SKUs and products and pricing, and just getting that back together. Seeing them struggle at reconciling their PayPal payments and their in-store payments and all that accounting, and just tracking all those jobs and sending all that to the accountant. And it's every channel was creating a store's worth of work for them. And that was unsustainable. And we could see a kind of IT burnout, if you will.
Right.
So the idea of unified commerce, we actually started that several years ago by trying to integrate with the tools that were in place. We already have integrations with PhotoWare CompuTime to do price updates and things like that. We were a Lightspeed reseller for a while, Speed Series R, inventory updates, shopping carts go down to Lightspeed. And we saw the improvement in how those retailers operated online and also in store. And the next step was to bring it all to one software, one platform. Even the connections that we made, the integrations that we made, were onerous at times in time and experience and just learning capacity. And just having those products, those SKUs in one platform, the simplicity that offers. And we got immediate uptake and interest. So we've been working on that for, I'd say, a good 2 years. And we have retailers onboarding right now, going to all the nooks and crannies and discovering all the things that we made, and the onboarding processes are going pretty well.
So what's so just for someone who's not familiar with your platform, when you mean unified, you're talking about hardware, over-the-counter retail products, right? If I buy a frame, if I can buy a Neo Enterprises frame off the shelf and bring it in, it's going to be track that sale through the POS and it'll be in the dashboard so I can see how many of those are being sold.
Exactly. So it can be sold over the counter. Customer can grab it off the shelf, bring it to the front. Still, it can be shown online, and it's all the same products, not different inventories. You're not reconciling data between systems. And it's really interesting because a customer could start an order online, come in store to pay it, come in store to finish it because they needed help, or they could start it in store, go back home, finish it at home.
Start it on their phone and finish
Correct.
it. Correct.
The retailer even has, we call it a save and send, but it's a quoting type feature where they can prepare a cart and add all the products. And this could be a camera as well as a canvas, as well as a photo book. It can be really anything. It can be film development, things like that. They can prepare the whole sale and then email that to the customer to pay on the website instead of take payment over the phone.
One of the camera retailer is very interested in is like the add-on sales, right? For a camera.
Correct.
Because that's really where they make the money. They don't make money out bodies. That's the so that could help with that too, because they could see what the add-on sales are, even if it's not a hard good, right? If they were to sell let's say someone buys a used camera, they could say, oh, and they bought 5 rolls of film with it, right? And that's all in the same.
And having that data in one place allows us to do some interesting things. And we even have some AI projects. That's you
got to say AI now.
The trend of the year, it's the trend of the decade, but we're not trying to drop it as a buzzword. Never have. We've tried to stay away from the buzzwords, but there are some interesting projects that we have coming up. A type of AI recommendation engine for customers that purchased 6 months ago. Bought a camera body 6 months ago. In our analysis, usually after 6 months, the typical stocks that gets a little antsy. They want a lens, they want a flash, they want something else to go with their kit.
Or even just have it cleaned, right? Just come in and...
So a type of AI recommendation engine to help identify which customers need a follow-up. We're not going full automatic yet. We're not going to automatically try to send something to the customer because if it's the wrong thing, we're going to let retail involvement. That's one of the projects we're looking at. And that's what having that unified commerce allows, because no matter where they bought it, online or in store, we'll have that information and we'll be able to contact them.
So,
and then across departments, you buy a print, offer a frame, cool enough, but that's always been hard to do in the past.
So is this part of your basic My Dakis subscription? Is this an enhancement to something, or is this just part?
I'd say it's a little bit of all of it. Some of the unified commerce features we baked into the basic plan, being able to send out a quote from in store that they can finish online. That's available to all the retailers. Things like the workflows and the work jobs, the core of that is available to all the retailers. But then there are some modules that are, so things like the pro event, if you want to use that workflow and make sure that they can order the prints, and you do need the pro event. It's not prohibitive.
Right.
And then the full POS with the cash register and integrated payments is also an add-on module. But all of it lives together. You're not installing a different piece of software. It's all in the same platform.
So it's a checkbox on your account.
Correct. It's a checkbox on your account. And then those features get unlocked and we do the training.
So what's the rollout schedule for the unified commerce platform? It's been in process for a couple of years and you've been releasing pieces of it, but when is it like
the
officially here, if you will?
So it is officially here. It is officially here. If you're a lab, if you're a camera store, everything you need is there. There are some modules that some retailers are waiting for, and the last big one is in production right now. The last big one is purchase orders. Everything that has to do with purchase orders and receiving inventory, receiving a shipment, tracking serial numbers. It's the last big module that's in development, and we expect that to be out by end of July, maybe August, to be used by retailers.
Now, you mentioned the boot camp at iPic. Can you talk a little bit
Correct.
about what that experience is going to be like and how people can prepare for that?
So the boot camp at iPic is something we haven't done in the last few years, but it's something we used to do under another name years ago. Really what it is, it's hands-on training. We're going to be there for 5 hours. Bring your laptops. Make sure you have all your logins. And make sure you have all of your questions ready for any of the topics you want covered. And they can really be anything. It can be about creating the products in the product factory. It can be about setting up your different workflows for film dev. It can be about preparing your account for the unified commerce point of sale. So all the different products and services that aren't necessarily in your mind. It's really about the retailer and what they need. We have obviously a few set topics we're going to want to cover with everyone because those are the ones that came back the most. So that's obviously setting up workflows, setting up film dev, getting ready for unified commerce, on hands-on training on doing an install transaction, doing an install refund, all of those things, which didn't exist before. And then it's also come prepared with questions. We're going to keep sending those out. And we're going to send the last one out before iPic. So a little bit after this episode, you're probably going to get one last survey, one last reminder,
one last
about
gasp,
the boot camp, one last grasp. But it's important if you're coming to the boot camp, take it seriously and send us what you want to talk about. But we'll prepare the accounts. We will prepare those topics ahead. So it's really about what our retailers need help with, and also showcasing and training on those modules in the future.
Okay. So where can people go for more information about the Dakis system? If they're going to be at iPic or if they're not going to be at iPic, where can they get more information?
Okay. So our trade show schedule this year, we're obviously doing iPic end of July. So obviously if you're an IPI member, I'm sure if you're not an IPI member, IPI will be happy to explain to you how that works and how you can come to iPic. We are at the Pro Show in the fall. We are at PhotoSource as well in the fall. So those are the in-person places. Obviously, you can go to Dakis.com. I'm going to tell you our website needs to be spruced up a little bit. And we're in the process of doing that.
That's everyone's one, right?
So on Dakis.com, obviously, you'll find more information. There's a lot of resources on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel. Matt Hopkins, one of our designers, is also one of our trainers now. He's been doing a lot of videos, how to use the web editor, a lot of how-tos on the new e-commerce as well. So there's more information there. And then obviously you can reach out by email directly. You can reach out. sales@Dakis.com is the simplest. I know it's a roll email. People don't like roll emails. But if you send something to sales@Dakis.com, you will be heard by either myself, by Patrick Gauvin, or by Ryan Fleury. Those are the 3 people that monitor that box. So awesome. I know people don't like roll emails. They're impersonal, but I'm telling you, this is a personal one. It goes right to you. It doesn't go to a bot. You're not going to get some AI response. You're going to get an actual Dakis.
Awesome. Well, great, Pat. It's great to see you. Best wishes at the South Point at iPic, and we'll see you hopefully in the fall at Pro.
And I'm very saddened to hear that I won't see you this year at iPic, but congratulations to your family and have a great trip.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Take care.
Thank you for listening to the Dead Pixel Society podcast. Read more great stories and sign up for the newsletter at www.thedeadpixelssociety.com.